I have an emotional question for you. Did you ever wonder why you exhibit sometimes, and myself too, emotions, and you think to yourself, well, where did that come from? That anger or rage? Well, to understand some of our emotions and where they come from, I truly believe learning about our Black history as African Americans will truly help us, not just for us, but for all the cultures around us. But some of those emotions are passed down from generation to generation. Those challenges that we still face today. So I decided this month, being Black History Month, to do some short, abbreviated Black history lessons. Just four. I'll call them Black History Moments, just for thoughts and consideration. So we're going to get right to it. It's only about 4 minutes, starting with chattel slavery, which started from 1619 to 1865. This happened in July of 1619, where 22 English colonists then met in a legislative body. Now, this was the first governing body in the colonies. And 1 month later, what happened? 20 Africans, just 20 Africans, arrived in Virginia. They were the first slaves in British America. And they arrived from Ndongo, which is in southern Africa, because at that time there was a growing demand for labor on the plantations, and the colonists had to decide what to do. So they thought about, English colonists thought and considered about the American Indian to do some of the work. But after thoughtful process, they considered them unsuitable because native tribes could fight back, and they didn't want that. Later, they looked at the American Indian, but they didn't want the raids. Then European immigrants were considered, but they were in limited supply, as well as West Indies people. They were considered because they were familiar with the European language and culture. So that would have been a plus for the plantation owners. The final decision was on the Africans because they viewed them as powerless. We are easier to control and less likely to form alliances with poor whites. So that's when the notion of white supremacy first came into their thought pattern as African Americans being rationalized enslavement. What was decided is a form system of slavery rules that were needed. One was to separate us by the tone of the skin. Number two, to remove the black male from the home. This also decreased the power. And they were stronger. And to provide no education, to strip of us of our cultural ways, more control. That kept us even more separated. Why? Because we are so much stronger together. So I hope this short but brief African American culture history lesson will help to cultivate some conversations, to get some discussions going among families, friends, and even maybe your neighbors. Because knowing and educating ourselves is power as well. And to help bind some of the diversity and divisiveness that we have right now, to help understand one another. This is lesson number 1. Number 2 will be coming next week. Till then, stay well, be blessed. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe to not miss the next history short lesson. Bye.